All right, welcome to the assignment solution walkthrough. As a quick reminder, Diane had reached out asking for our help creating some new calculated columns that can be used by the data science team in their customer segmentation analysis. So here's a quick preview of what the three calculated columns should end up looking like. We've got one for customer priority, we've got one for income level, and then we've got one for education category. All right, let's head over to Power BI and I'll walk you through how to create each of these. All right, so up first, we're going to dig into customer priority. And for this, let's head over to our customer lookup table. And we're going to create a new column. All right, so we're going to call this customer priority. And based on our key objectives, right, we need to basically use a couple of criteria here. We need to say if the customer is a parent and if their annual income is over $100,000. So we're going to use an if statement and we're going to say is parent equals yes. And this is a great use case for using the double ampersand. So we're going to say if the customer is a parent and annual income is greater than 100,000, then priority. Otherwise, standard. And then we can lock that in. So again, we've got our logical statement here. So if both of these conditions are true, then return priority, otherwise standard. All right, so we can actually filter this. We've got priority listing here is parent equals yes. You can see annual income, 110,000, 170, 150, so on and so forth. So that looks great. Let's clear this filter. All right, so our second key objective was to create a calculated column in the customer lookup table for income level. All right, so we'll create a new calculated column. All right, we're going to call this income level. Right, and here we're going to use different if statements. Right, so first we want to say if our annual income is greater than or equal to 150, then very high. Otherwise, if our annual income is greater than or equal to 100,000, high. And then if our annual income is greater than or equal to 50,000, average. Otherwise, we want to return low. And then we've got 1, 2, 3 parentheses to bring it back. All right, so we'll lock this in. And there you go. All right, so we've got our income levels, average, high, low, very high. We take a look at low here. Again, this should be anything that is below 50,000. All right, so 20,000, 10,000, a bunch of different values there. All right, so this column looks pretty good. All right, and our last key objective here was a bonus one, and that was to use switch and to create a new column called education category, right? And we're basing this based off of the education level column here, right? So let's call this education category. And this is going to equal switch. The expression is the column that we're going to be basing it off of. So this is education level. And the value results pairs that we want to return. So if the education level contains high school, we want to return high school. If we have partial high school, we also want to return high school. All right, so we're returning nice logical groups here. If we find bachelor's, we want to return undergrad. Partial college, we're also going to return undergrad. And then our last clause here for graduate degree, I want to return graduate. And I need to close my quote. We'll close our parenthesis and lock this in. All right, so now we've got a blank here. Click cancel. And it looks like I misspelled high school. So partial high school, bachelor's. All right, let's try this again. Again, super easy to correct if you make a spelling mistake. Again, always good to QA to make sure you're getting the result set that you're expecting. All right, so now we've got nice clean categories here: graduate, high school, and undergrad, right? And we're cleaning up this education level field, right? And grouping these 5 different ones into 3. All right, so that's going to wrap up this assignment solution walkthrough on logical functions.